Live coverage of tonight's race presented by the Asphalt Racing Network. In partnership with Decals Paint and Photoshop, your one-stop shop for all your iRacing paint needs. And of course, Young Hitta Collectibles on whatnot for all of your new and old die-cast needs, whether that be 124, 164, and sometimes 118s. Holy hell, there's a lot on the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another week here for the Fisher Studios Truck Series as we are going to take on the most historic track in NASCAR, that being Charlotte Motor Speedway. A 1.46 mile track, 45 miles per hour for their pit speeds. 87 degrees during qualifying for these drivers with 92 on the track already. Only 3 mile per hour winds. Roughly 8 sets of tires in the boxes ready to go for the drivers at all times tonight. 3 green-white checkers. No fast pairs and a fuel limit of 90%, which is going to be giving them about 43 laps of fuel on the field. And, of course, in the booth, as always, for tonight, on behalf of the Asphalt Racing Network, it is Tyler Jones. Welcome back, everybody, for another week here. Some good, fun action. They are just finishing qualifying. We apologize once again as we're still having trouble with the YouTube side. We thought everything was going to work perfectly fine. It is not. It is not. So we're going to keep trying on a weekly basis. I have no idea what it's going to take to fix it. But we are going to try and fix it as fast and as conveniently as possible. But 11 drivers here tonight. Qualifying now, we're wrapping up. We are going to get ready here for some warm-up action. And of course, we can actually play you guys some music while these drivers get their warm-up situated. You can see who is here on the track tonight. Caleb Hess is going to be here tonight in the 23. That's not right. Trading Paints. Let's reload it. What are you doing? We're going to get Trading Paints reloaded as these drivers go into warm-ups. There we go. Now it's set correctly. There's James Mandarud on the track now as well. Trying to get warmed up here before we go green tonight. Of course. We are just coming out of the Monster Mile 125. Last week, J.J. Moore with a win. Of course, after a chaotic and controversial race at Dover, the Truck Series returns to an intermediate track here tonight. For the first time since we went to Texas on April 24th. That is where Isaiah Fox won in the number 12 truck for Lax Motorsports. Notably, Isaiah Fox not going to be on the field of drivers here tonight. Not wanting to use one of his uses, so he will not be returning tonight. That 12 truck will be on field now with Mason Swansburg here tonight. course, multiple drivers, sole lead of most Truck Series wins right now. Lax, Lewis, Rainey, and Fox are all tied with 2 wins in the Naris Fisher Studios Truck Series. Lax and Lewis have found success at various road courses, while both of Rainey and Fox's wins came at the intermediate ovals. Do we see Lax and Lewis take lead as full-time drivers, or do the part-time aces take the all-time series wins lead? Now, it is going to be pretty close here tonight. Lax is here tonight, as we've seen. Lucas Lewis making his return tonight as well. 2 differences that we didn't see last week. Now, of course, with them on the field tonight fully, it could be a pretty exciting race between those two, knowing what's at stake, and I truthfully feel like it will be. Of course, time will tell the entirety of the night for these drivers, as we're still in warm-ups right now, so we have a lot more time to go before we can say for certainty who is going to take it away. Of course, Tyler Sanchez here tonight in the 75. 27 of Christopher Franz. $65 of Cole Darcy. $83 of Peter Hoppe here tonight as well. Drivers with roughly another 5 minutes in warm-ups here. Trying to get as much practice as possible in these cars is going to be mandatory. Now, of course, I believe it is the affiliate anniversary here on Twitch as well, so that is a good night to be going live here. Still would like it to be firing off on both, so we didn't have to do a premiere of the race on YouTube as well. Can't tell you why it's not. I thought I fixed it last week with a lot of the tests. I did the retest and everything looked fine, but apparently I stand corrected. Right now it seems like Lax has having the fastest time here in warm-ups. About a minute and some change left over before we go green here today. Battersby not here. Battersby will not be here tonight. Peter, appreciate it. Thank you for the tier 1 sub. 3 months. For all of you live here on Twitch, you know what time it is. It is time where the bells toll and the drivers get to their starting positions in the pits. Looking here tonight for your grid in your top 10, row 1. Pole position going to Caleb Hess, Owen Lax on the outside. Row 2, Lucas Lewis and Cole Darcy. Row 3 is going to be Stephen Hollinsworth and Peter Hoppy Jr. Row 4 going to Tyler Sanchez with James Mandarood. Row 5 going to Mason Swansburg and Charlie Bennett. Row 6 in the back by himself, the 27 of Christopher Franz. We are ready to go green. Now is the time to drop your driver picks in the chat. Who do we think is going to be walking away with the win here tonight? We should be going green this time by. Pace car making the left-hand turn. In the restart zone, Caleb Hess takes us to green flag. It's out now. Lucas Lewis looking pretty good now. He's jumped up to the lead pretty early on here above Caleb Hess and Stephen Hollinsworth, 2 positions up from where he gridded. Already here tonight, doing pretty good. 73 out front early on. He's already putting some time difference as well onto the other 3 drivers just behind him. Of course, now they're going to be in a draft pack. They're going to catch up a lot of speed here to that one car in front, the 73 who we're following right now. Of course, the clean air might make a difference here tonight. I mean, if we saw, it wasn't too bad track temp wise in qualifying. Now looking at it for the race, 86 in the air, 90 for that concrete track. So still pretty warm. Of course, Charlotte known to be a tire eater. It's going to happen. All concrete tracks are like that. The hotter it is, the worse it is. I mean, it could be worse. Worse for wear. They could be in the hundreds, 110s. It'll really be bad for the tires here tonight. Thankfully, they're only in the 90s. So that is going to be a pretty big difference. Of course, Hollinsworth, the 15, has closed that gap to Lucas. He's going to take the high side here. Trying not to burn the tires on these trucks here tonight. It's a wise move. Stay on the high side. Don't burn anything out. Try to keep them on the truck as long as possible so you don't have to waste a set of tires. You don't have to waste a pit box. Stop and, you can keep rolling on the field. Now, Hollinsworth going to take the lead from the top side. Or 73, Lucas Lewis isn't going to let him run away with it. Now you've got to wonder, the 2 behind them, Cole Darcy and Caleb Hess, they don't seem to be fighting for position right now. They seem to be comfortable where they're at for the time being. Of course, still a lot left in this race. 6 laps out of 50 for stage 1 and 2, 67 to finish out stage 3. So there's a lot of time still left here. Do you kind of just get in your groove? Do you want to pass? Do you want to stay with them? I mean, there's a lot of questions that still technically need to be answered for these 2 drivers here tonight. The biggest question overall is how is it going to work out for them as well? Hollinsworth in the lead, 65 of Darcy now up to second. Lucas down, back to where he started in P3. Looking behind them, Owen Lax in 5th, the 14 truck by himself right now. He's about 1.7, almost 2 seconds back from the 4th place hitter of Caleb Hess. Tyler Sanchez behind him, about 0.9. That is the 75 right there, running a tracker scheme tonight. 08 to Charlie Bennett, 3.3 seconds back, 6 seconds back from the leaders. Hoppy, the 83, not too far behind him in camera shot there, about half a second back is going to be the 83 of Hoppy Jr. and the 27 of France. And rounding out the field in 10th place and 11th, James Manderud right now, the 78 truck. He is about 0.74 behind the 9th place hitter of France, and a full 9 seconds back from the leader. Swansburg is in the same situation, 10 seconds roughly back from the leader, and about 1.2 to the truck just out in front. Going back up. Hollingsworth still in the lead here right now. Haven't seen much of a move from these top three since Hollingsworth has taken the lead. They could just be trying to get their footing right. Figuring out when's the best time to make that move, to make the adjustment. When do they want that position? You can see it looks like the 65 of Darcy going to be trying to gun for that position at some point in time. Just don't know when. Hollingsworth doing a really good job right now. Controlling the field. Of course, like we said, stage 1 going to be 50 laps. Same as stage 2. Final stage, stage number 3, going to be 67 laps of racing here tonight before we decide who is going to be the winner. Track temps going up just a little bit, 92 degrees now. Trucks are starting to wear them in a little bit. 4 mile per hour winds, still the same temps in the sky. .65 of Darcy slowly closing that gap to the 15 of Hollingsworth right now. Top 4 have been all stacked together for the entirety of this race. Lax still about 1.8 out in camera shot now. Having to do it with no draft assistance, though. That is going to hurt like hell. These 3 are packed up. Seems to be they're kind of just going to let Hollingsworth burn his tires out front. Might also be seeing these 3 try to do more or less a strategic run, trying to stay in draft. Of course, whoever's leading isn't going to get much draft unless you're getting draft from the 15, but they might be fighting for position here, and then also trying to use draft to not burn their gas as hard as the rest. Hollingsworth's going to be at a very big disadvantage, as he has been in the lead for a predominant amount of laps so far here. He's the one burning the most gas, as well as Owen, as he has no help around him. I mean, Hess only has 1 lap. Hollingsworth right now sitting comfortably at 13 laps led. Lucas Lewis getting the rest. Lax needs to pick up that 75 with Tyler Sanchez. You also don't want to back off too hard, though. Of course, Lax and Swansburg. Excuse me. The only 2 Rams on the field tonight. In a sea of Chevys, 1 lone Toyota, that is the 78 of Mandarud. 7 Chevys. And 1 lone Ford, that being Stephen Hollingsworth, your current leader. Of course, Tyler Sanchez here tonight. He is making an oval debut. He is sitting in the 75 truck that had found itself in victory lane last week. Now, Sanchez takes over the wheel. Sanchez has made one previous start at Watkins Glen, but is looking to make an impact tonight here in Charlotte. Of course, last week's winner, J.J. Moore, has been suspended from truck competition by his team owner of Jordan Parker for 2 weeks after some controversy from Dover last week, leading to Jordan Parker returning to the truck and made it to victory lane with at Daytona to look for the 2026 sweep. Of course, Sanchez still sitting in sixth, 4 seconds back from the leaders. You can see that on the tower, 4.6 seconds back. Lax now seems to have actually caught up to the draft. Now, of course, he could have burnt a lot more tires than what he wanted. You can see it right there on the telemetry as we do go in-car. That is not in-car. This is in-car with the 14 of Owen Lax currently sitting in 5th place. About a half a tank of gas already. We're 23 laps in. There's about 43 laps of fuel in these tanks as they are set to 90%. Lax trying to make a run on the 65 of Darcy there. Will he confidently do it is the question. Darcy now in the rearview mirror for Lax. Now Caleb Hess, Stephen Hollingsworth going to be side by side here. We're going to go on board with Caleb for a little bit on the roll bar. Got Hollingsworth to the outside. They are about nose to nose entering this corner. See Hollingsworth just getting back on it a little bit earlier than Hess is. Hess confident in his capabilities to make this run happen here tonight. The thing is, how long will it take him to prevail? Hollingsworth seems to have the car tonight. Hess seems like he wants to make the pass. They almost made contact there. Hess breaks loose just a little bit. It was almost a bad move for the 23 there. Lax now up to third as he has passed Lucas Lewis. We are just 3 laps over the halfway point of stage number 1. And the question still remains, who is going to take the stage at this point? You got Hess and Lax, both into pits this time. And Charlie Bennett going to join them as well. Charlie does not look to be having A good run there. You saw him lock up the brakes. Wonder if he's got a speeding penalty for that. We didn't see a black flag pop up at the bottom of the tower, so it doesn't look like it. Now he just got to make it to his pit stall and not overshoot his pit stall. Stephen Hollingsworth going an extra lap around, coming into pits as well. It's a 75 of Tyler Sanchez. Lucas Lewis in. James Mandarud in. Bennett, France, Hess, Lax out now. Ron still has yet to pit, as well as Hoppy and Darcy. Top three all have left to pit. Hollingsworth not leaving yet. Darcy now into pits this time. 15 of Hollingsworth going to make it out before the 73 of Lucas Lewis. Then the 75 of Tyler Sanchez. As our current leader, Peter Hoppy, is in pits. Christopher Franz not too far. He'll take the lead. He still has not went down to pits. New leader alert, but could this be a wise move? As he is about a quarter of a tank left in gas. Now, of course, Hess and Hollingsworth will take over second and third. Christopher Franz still out. You see the other drivers have a lot better tires than him, as they are just driving around him as if he is standing still. About 17 laps left. Caleb Hess and Hollingsworth in second place. They're 10 seconds back from the leader. They are slowly catching. Now it's stage one almost done. We haven't seen Hoppy get a good run here. Can he be conserving and trying to find out his strategy? I mean, right now he is looking to rebound. Hoppy had an early points lead where at the beginning of the season it looked like he would be a two-truck battle between Hoppy and Lewis. Obviously, Lax has come and taken that points lead. Hoppy finds himself 63 points behind Lax due to issues and having to miss the race at Lime Rock. Does Hoppy start his comeback with 11 races to go in the championships? Can it easily be in the cards with Hoppy's impressive performance at Atlanta and Texas earlier this year? Right now, he is sitting at a comfortable 7th place, only one down from where he gridded. He hasn't made too many moves, but he also hasn't lost anything, so it's showing good signs for him at this point in time in the race to still have a good net positive gain by the end. We have 14 laps to go now. He's starting to catch time to the 08 of Charlie Bennett just out in front. Stephen Hollingsworth and Caleb Hess now 1 and 2 as Franz drops down to 4th. Hollingsworth being the man to beat here tonight. If you are just tuning in here tonight, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you hanging out with us. The drivers appreciate you hanging out with us. So we get some good Charlotte action here. Hollingsworth in first place right now with 11 laps to go. He's led 29 laps so far of this race. Caleb Hess sitting in second, only 1 lap ahead. That is where he qualified in first. He's down 1 position. Stephen Hollingsworth up 4 on the night, second highest mover. First highest mover right now is going to be that 08 of Charlie Bennett, who's up 5 positions from where he started here just 41 laps ago. 08 just behind Hoppy now as he has advanced himself to a top 5 spot. With 9 to go, he'll not be able to close that 6.7 second gap to the leaders. But this 2 to 3 car tandem here might actually be able to catch Lucas Lewis sitting in 4th place. They're only about 1.7 seconds back. Lucas is by himself. They are in camera shot. They are close range to possibly take over a few more spots before we get to the end of stage number 1. Seven to go now. Lucas still running by himself. You see Peter getting close. Owen in 3rd place. 1.6 back from the 23 of Hess in 2nd. 2.9 away from Lucas behind. Hollingsworth does not care. 0.46 seconds in front of the 23 of Caleb Hess right now with 7 to go. And it seems like that gap is getting bigger the longer these laps go on. So it really seems like it might be. Stephen Hollingsworth stage. 4 to go now. Hollingsworth might have burnt those tires out pretty bad because now you're seeing Hess and Lax. They are in spitting distance. Or is that the 27 of France? No, that is the 27 of France. A lap down. He has yet to go into pits. Now going into pits. That is a bad strategy call personally, as that is really going to put him out of the fight here. Caution out on the field. Ooh, on the 83 of Hoppy. No meatball flag to Hoppy as you see him wait for competitors to go by before he recenters himself on the field. But that is going to be a lot of damage. Christopher Franz, of course, not going to get trapped. He'll get that free pass when he comes out. He's the only car a lap down. We're going to go back and see exactly what happened here with Hoppy. Hoppy and Lewis. Hoppy comes up too early. Catches that right rear quarter panel to the nose of the 73. Puts himself into the wall, so not only does he have right rear damage, he's going to have nose damage as well. Heavy impacts there for the 83. Like I said, he's able to drive her around. There is no meatball flag, so everything's going to be good for him. Stage is going to finish under caution for the first 50 laps. So that is going to be Stephen Hollingsworth with a stage win. And now we're going to have to go around. Finish the stage out under caution. And then a rack for stage number 2. Well, we almost went 50 laps green. So that is a good situation here. Hopefully these drivers will be able to push it a little bit further when it comes down to the next stage. Of course, right now, stage 1 officially complete for the Fisher Studios Truck Series. We are going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be back in just a minute.
We got Team 2311, owned by this guy, and 3-time Daytona winner Denny Hamlin. But Denny Hamlin races for another team, Joe Gibbs Racing. Yeah, Super Bowl winning head coach Joe Gibbs. And they both share the track with Legacy Motor Club, co-owned by 7-time Cup champ Jimmy Johnson. 3 epic teams, 4 legendary owners, all going after 1 cup. Now you're up to speed. You in?
Hendrick.
Summer is here and you've got places to go.
She's headed to a golf tournament.
This one's headed to the beach.
And he's headed to a music festival.
And they know every good road trip starts right here.
At Hendrick Automotive Group.
We'll check your battery, tire pressure, top off your fluids,
Check your cooling system.
And do a multi-point inspection.
extending the life of your vehicle.
And keeping you safe
Anywhere you want to go.
For free.
just make sure you're road ready.
All good road trips start here.
Book your road ready appointment today at hendrickcars.com.
Last year, Ram killed the Hemi V8, and people had opinions. The same people that killed the Hemi sent me out here with these comments. That's not happening. We own it, we got it wrong, and we're fixing it. You hear that? That's our Hemi, and it's saying, I'm back.
Did he say what I think he said? That thing's not a Hemi.
Hell yeah, it does. You want more? Buckle up. Rams coming back to NASCAR. Let's go. We're back in America's motorsport. The Hemi's back, and we ain't going anywhere.
Coming back from commercial, we are about ready to go green. Start stage number 2. Of course, coming out of pits, Caleb Hess got the lead over Stephen Hollinsworth. Hollinsworth looked to be getting that lead out of pits, but Caleb, with that first pit stall, was able to beat him out. Excuse me. So Hollinsworth will start in second on the outside, Lax on the inside, as well as Bennett and Darcy. You're going to see Hollinsworth, Swansburg, Sanchez, Anderud on the outside. Hoppy still in pits now, getting most of his damage. Don't mind the black flags, they will get cleared. Green flag going to be out now. Reporting 9 minutes of damage for Peter. That is really going to hurt his night. There'll be multiple laps down by the time he gets back out, unless these guys start having a wreck fest. And I'm not talking about on the track. I'm talking about practically the game itself here at Charlotte. Now Hollinsworth going to be your new leader again over Caleb Hess. Drivers re-racked, but you already see a lot of space in between our top 5 so far. Hollinsworth, Hess, Lax, Bennett, Darcy, your top 5. There's already a quarter of a second gap to Darcy in 5th and Swansburg in 6th. Darcy going to make a move to the outside, almost scrubbed the wall there. Got around the 08 of Charlie Bennett there as we are 6 laps into stage number 2. Pretty good fights we've seen so far. Like to see a few more drivers put their name into that top 5 pool right now. You're seeing a back and forth battle on the overlays pop off between the 15 and the 23. Hollingsworth and Hess here. Caleb wants the lead. Caleb can get there. He just can't hold Hollingsworth off. Was fighting side by side, had a dive back low there, or dive back high there, excuse me. Didn't want to lose any of that momentum he's got going right now. Lax, kind of similar to how it was for stage 2 for him. France off track. Got to keep it on track, buddy. Can't cut it. Probably just apex a little bit too weird there. Black sitting in 3rd right now, kind of reminiscent to what we saw for stage 1 for him. Hung around in the backfield a little bit till everything started getting cool, comfortable, and clean. Then he started making his way through. Now you've got to wonder if we're going to see the same situation here today for stage 2. Does he have something different up his sleeve? Of course, right now, still early to tell. Now, of course, we've already seen a stage of 50 laps. It's really going to be the long run cars versus the short runs. Who prevails between both of them is going to be the question. I mean, we saw this during the All-Star race for Charlotte here for the NARIS Cup Series, as well as the Coca-Cola Patriotic 350 race the following week. You know, tire degradation was really high. Tire saving really prevailed to be the consistency and to really what get those drivers by. The biggest question is, are we going to see more of that here tonight? I mean, trying to look at the field while these drivers go around, it doesn't seem like it's rubbered up so bad within these first 63 laps. Normally, you would see it on the high side. I don't see much marbles on the high side as the lights are starting to come on. Obviously, Hollingsworth's still able to use that high side, so I wouldn't say it's marbled up too bad right now. Yeah, looking at our static cams from these drivers, you don't really see much rubber debris on track right now. I mean, tires are still wearing. We've already seen it before, how bad it was. Weather right now, still sitting at 91 degrees track temp. So the tires are getting probably not as bad as anybody would expect it to be right now, as we're lap 15 out of 50. 16 crossed the line this time. 65 laps of this race have been done with only one minor incident right at the end of stage 1. We've only served 6 laps of pacing under caution for 1 caution. Of course, didn't have to throw that second caution because the stage brake was already there. Now, of course, drivers wanted to get through that one little hiccup on that progress bar and keep moving forward. This race would be an immaculate performance if they can do so. Of course, that's going to have to take some time, not pushing the trucks too hard in the late stages of your run to really make that difference is what it's all going to come down to. So far, so good between these drivers. Hollingsworth still out in the lead. Lax now up to second place with Heston Bennett not too far behind. Bennett going to dive to the inside of the 23 there for a position. You got Darcy and Swansburg not too far back. Hoppy screwed out of this one with probably about 7 minutes of damage now left. Could be 6.4. Now following the 14 Lax for a little bit. He's sitting in second place, not too far from Hollingsworth. You can see him in the mirror. Owen already playing the smart strategy game there. Little diamond formation going on here with the top 5 drivers. Lax trying to hold off the 23 of Hess. Hess literally shadowing Lax right now. The 14 wiggles, so does the 23. Got to be careful with that though, because that's what causes cautions. Of course, the sun setting here in beautiful Concord, North Carolina. Beautiful track. Big track. If you have an opportunity to go to this track, I would highly recommend it. About 2 laps away from hitting the halfway mark of stage number 2. It's went by pretty quick. Drivers have only had about 43 minutes in the seat under green flag conditions to start this race. Believe it or not, we are already 73 laps into this race in under 45 minutes. Now Franz going to go in pits early this time. Seemed like he's learned his lesson from last time. Lewis in the 73 is also going to be a lap down. Franz being a lap down with the situation in pits as the caution was called. That's going to hurt him. So now he'll probably go 2 laps down as Lucas Lewis is going to stay out. Top 4 drivers doing that really good to try to hold it all in now. Hollinsworth cycles back to your lead position. Lax in second. Bennett in third. Hess in fourth. And Darcy almost 2.5 seconds off, sitting in fifth. Swanberg in pits now. Mandarud also going to join him in pits. Fortina Lax wanting some laps led here. '65 of Darcy going in pits this time as well. Now 2 laps away from hitting the 20 left to go mark. Stage number 2 without a hitch right now. Tyler Sanchez also coming down to pits. Top 4 have not won in yet. They have all caught up to each other now. Ooh, 23 of Hess in the wall. That's going to hurt times just a little bit. Of course, Bennett and Lax are in draft. Not only with the leader, but with themselves. So they're going to gain some time regardless. Thankfully, that wall tap from the 23 didn't screw him out of a position. Lap 30 out of 50. Bennett, highest mover so far. The hardest charger on the field, up 8 as he's going to go sideways. Caution is going to be out. As we were watching that, we just saw that live, folks. Kind of reminiscent there with the Hoppy and Lewis wreck. 08 really hurts himself there, spinning himself off the nose. That's going to be nose damage. Might be in the 83 Hoppy situation now. We got 6+ minutes of damage on your truck. Now, of course, Hollinsworth going to be your leader at the time of the caution. So far, so good for Hollinsworth. He's on par to take the sweep here for stage 1 and 2. Of course, stage 3 going to be a bit different. A little bit longer, 17 laps longer to be exact. Of course, all drivers coming down to pit this time. Ina Lax gets the lead. I believe those are all cars that have stayed out. Getting the wave around. There's the wave around now. Of course, Hollinsworth and Lax going to be in the restart for row 1 this time. Lax has moved himself up the field predominantly so far here tonight. Second caution now officially out. Pace lights are off and they are double file, which means we'll be back green once the rest of the drivers catch up to him. Now, going into turn 3 and 4, the pace car is going to be off this time. Lax in the low side, going to take us back to green flag in the restart zone. Green flag out now. This is going to be an intense battle here for the lead. Hollinsworth gets the lead over the 14 of Lax. Now with Hollinsworth having a dominant night here, what does that mean moving forward? Hollinsworth, not a full-time driver. The last time I remember, I believe he is a part-time, just filling in a slot. But you also heard him say Charlotte was one of the races he had marked on the calendar. We can now see why. Finished top 3 not just a few weeks ago. Got that interview and told us, hey, look, I don't have many more starts, but the starts I will be making are probably races I will be dominating in a win. And we are seeing exactly what he was talking about here. A lot of people would mistake his confidence for cockiness, but that is not the case. He is giving the 14 of Lax one hell of a run for his money right now. .13 to go in stage number 2. Lax already back a quarter of a second. Not looking so good for Lax here now. Caleb Hess in third. I mean, we've seen Hess and Lax fight harder battles on the Cup side, but do they have what it takes to strip Hollinsworth of a stage 2 finish with only 11 laps to go now? Tyler Sanchez off track. Christopher Franz going to be spun out. Sanchez with a meatball flag. He's going to have to go to the pits and repair at least a minimum of 6 to 7 minutes of damage, as he is deemed not worthy of competition speed. Now let's go ahead and look back to see exactly what happened. Follow 75 for a lap or so. So Charlie Bennett on the outside. 12 of Swanberg, kind of behind adjacent. And I believe that is a 27 of Franz up front. So they were racing pretty clean here. Obviously, he makes that advance on Franz within a lap or two. That's how Franz was behind him. Getting that wreck. You can see him catching a lot of time here to him. Everything looks good. He's not over-throttling corners from what I can see. He's not stomping on the gas too hard, so you got to wonder where it kind of went wrong for him. See him catching the 27 there now. Shoots to the outside to make the pass. Doesn't have it. Tries to get the draft. Scrubs the wall a little bit. Keeps everything rolling though. Now here's where he starts to make the run for that clean air. He breaks loose a little bit on that corner. Still holds the side. Him and Franz are dancing a little bit back and forth, trying to give each other room. Real close they get there in the turn 1 entrance. Ooh, that might be it. The 27 might have blinked on him. Alright, now let's go to exactly where it all started to go wrong. Ooh, so he passes the 27. Making some really good runs there. Slams that outside wall. So he passes the 27, comes up, makes some contact to that right rear. Sends him right side front, nose first into the wall. See the fender go flying off on the track. Probably lost all control. Takes out the 27 in the process. That's going to end his night. That is most likely too much damage to continue. Looking like Tyler Reddick out there in the trucks. Now, of course, Lax and Swanberg going to be 1 and 2 for this restart. About 8 laps to go now. We're going to be back green this time. Pace lights are off. Lax, Swanberg, Hess, Hollinsworth, and Darcy rounding out your top 5. Of course, Mandarud was the free pass that time. He's 2 laps down still now. Franz is 2 laps down. Sanchez still in pits, and Hoppy 9 laps down. Now we're going to go back green here now on the 14 of Lax. Don't mind the black flags. It's only because we let these drivers choose where they want to be. All blacks are cleared. You're going to see them cleared there. 14 of Lax shooting to the low side. 15 of Hollingsworth already going for the top side. Lax needs to put the block on. Keep Hollingsworth to the low side. We haven't seen much from him there. He is hell on wheels, though. You see him just gapping the 14 as they were side by side for not even a few seconds there. Now Hollingsworth going to be out in front by 6,000ths of a second. Lax going to be able to take it back with 6,000ths of a second. Now they're split. Hollingsworth back and forth going. If we could finish the next 6 laps like this, this might be the closest finish that we've had so far. Lax might have screwed up by taking bottom there. Hollingsworth going to catch a lot of time. It is now just getting good. Seems like the 15 of Hollingsworth finally met his match. He cannot get around Lax right now. He is awarded the lead. He does it. He gets that first position back with about 4 to go. Lax isn't going to let that happen. Lax diving to the bottom side now, trying to make the run back. You got Darcy in the 65 behind, just trying to get through. 12 of Swanberg is falling all the way back to 5th now. Lax with no teammates around, all by himself, trying to take the lead away from the lone Ford. 3 laps to go now, 2 as we cross the line. This time by. There's another wreck. Lax involved all the way down into the front stretch, entering the pits. Hood taken up on it. 65 of Darcy with a meatball flag. We are going to lose another competitor to the pits. 65 is smoking. Lax not going to be in good shape either, as he has a lot of damage. Losing a fender. Hood open, slapping his windshield right now. How is he driving? Not a clue. Someone clip this and make a meme out of it, because by God, George, he can't see where he's going. Looking back at the wreck here. Hollingsworth cuts in. 65 just got caught in the middle of it. 14 went to go cut down. Collects the 65's rear end. Slams him into the wall. 14 goes through the grass. 65 of Darcy is just spinning. But of course, all of that damage has screwed him over now. Oh, and Lax now gets the meatball. That is not good. Might be the end of the night for the 14. So now Hollingsworth has Swansburg, Bennett, and up in the top 4. Lax in 5th. unconfirmed of his situation as of right now. Lucas Lewis, he's in 6th. Only one person going to stay out, and that's going to be Hollingsworth right now. Got to wonder how good this strategy call is actually going to be for him. Of course, unfortunately, that has been 2 stages now that have finished under caution. Both of them having the same winner. Lax still in pits. He's been in pits for about a minute. That is not showing good signs for that meatball flag to be out for him. He is now going to go a lap down. Hollingsworth, choose cone this time by, is going to take the high side. Mandarood with the lucky dog. Should be back on lead lap now. Now, of course, waiting to go back green. This time again. To start the last stage of the night. Stage number 3. As the crimson sky in the background gets stronger. The lights are on. Green lights about to be on the pits. As green flag is back out now. Owen Lax, the 14, out of the race. Now it is Stephen Hollingsworth to take. Caleb Haas and Swanberg with Charlie Bennett and Lucas Lewis going to have to play damage control now. Mandaroon still a lap down. Christopher Franz in pits. Most likely done for the night as well. Cole Darcy in pits. 65 with the meatball done. Peter Hoppy officially out. Tyler Sanchez in pits for 14 minutes. I mean, only 5 drivers now remain on lead lap. Lap 6 out of 67 now. Now, of course, you see here the 23 of Caleb Hess holding his own in second place. Not much of a distance right now. It's not as bad as it could be. Three of Haas. Not too far behind the 15 of Hollingsworth. Will he actually be able to make a pass? We are only lap 13 in to a 67 lap run. Obviously one tire stop going to be mandatory here. The 15 of Hollingsworth has really been hell on wheels for these drivers tonight. So far, he's led 95 laps out of 115. On par to sweep the race. Now, will he be able 2 is going to be the biggest question of them all. Going back to Charlie Bennett in third. He's 5.5 seconds. 5.25 seconds back from the leader of Hollingsworth right now. He is just 5 seconds back from Caleb Hess and only 0.45 seconds back from Mason Swanberg, who's sitting just inside the top 5 and 4th. Top 5 driver Lucas Lewis, 11.6 seconds back from the leaders, 5.8 to the nearest competitor in front of him. There's a lot to make up in this race, if he could even think about a win at this point in time. So far, so good for the 15. Lap 18. Going to 19 this time by your stage number 3. Hess has officially caught up to Hollingsworth. Lap 21. Hollingsworth not moving anywhere. Hess still in the same position. Top 5 really hasn't moved much. Looking back up to our top 2 sitters right now. Not much advancement for these drivers right now. You've got to wonder why. We're almost to the halfway point of stage number 3. Of course, at this point in time, we're going to shoot for another commercial break. We'll be back with more high-speed action here in just a few minutes.
Let's go! I want to taste your banana pudding. You taste my banana pudding. It's on. It's on.
I was going to say, will you marry me?
Is my makeup messy? Yes, it's messy.
Consumer Cellular can help people save on their cell phone bills. That's why I cut my car in half. This year, let's cut even more things to show people how much they can save. Let's cut the face off of our helmets. Let's cut the top off of our steering wheel. Let's even cut our hats.
Isn't that just a visor?
Shut up, Chris. Great. Can't wait to see what y'all come up with.
Get your second month free with Consumer Cellular.
Now we are going to be back from commercial break. Welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen. Fisher Studios Truck Series taking on Charlotte right now, of course. We are live from ARN here tonight. Hollinsworth still in first place. Caleb Hess in second. Now Hollinsworth going to be in. Trying to look at the track temps once we get the tower notifications off my damn screen. Charlie Bennett's going to be in pits this time too. 89 degrees, track finally cooling down now that the sun is down and the lights are on. That is going to help these drivers with the rest of this race, but still not much of a difference here so far. Of course, Hess going to stay out. Try to put a big advantage onto Hollinsworth. Hollinsworth now a lap down, exiting. Only 3 drivers on lead lap right now. Swansburg, Hess, and Lewis. Everybody else is 1 to 2 laps down, and it doesn't seem like that is going to change at the end of the night. Now, of course, Hess going to be in. Now, of course, Lucas being the new leader, Hollinsworth just now passing as well. Probably not how Hess wanted that to go. Lucas Lewis finally actually getting a lead some of the laps. Front's off track. Lucas Lewis now able to lead some laps here tonight. He's only got 4 as of right now. He'll most likely be in the pits in the next 5 laps. Hollingsworth sitting on a full tank. You can't see it because of how long his name is, but I can kind of see it at the bottom there. Caleb Hess still full. Fresh tires. 30 laps to go left. 137 have been ran here tonight. Now Lucas gonna enter pit road. Caleb Hess 7.6 seconds back on our current leader, the 15 of Hollingsworth. Now with Hollingsworth in the lead by 7 seconds. You can kind of round it up here for the last 30 laps, unless something crazy happens. Charlie Bennett and Lucas Lewis going side by side. Hollingsworth still holding this lead out now. We're at lap 43 out of 67. He's had an immaculate race so far here tonight. '23 of Caleb Hess. Trying, but not succeeding right now. It seemed like it was going to be an impossible feat even for Lax with how strong, steady, and overly confident Hollingsworth is here at Charlotte. Looking at Mandarud right now. He's sitting in 6th place. He's had opportunities to make runs tonight, just haven't benefited him through the course of the night. Lap 46 out of 67 now. Hollingsworth still in the lead, almost putting Mandarud another lap down. Lucas Lewis sitting in 5th, 1 lap down. If a caution were to come out, he'll be back on lead lap. Swansburg not too far behind. Sitting in 4th, Charlie Bennett. The 08 in 3rd. Caleb Hess still sitting in the 2nd spot right now, 6.2 seconds back from our leader, the 15 of Stephen Hollingsworth, who is putting some belt to the butt of these drivers tonight. About 15 laps left, or 17 laps left. Math was not my strong suit in school. 15 is not fighting that 27th floor position. That is the 27 of Christopher Franz, who is 5 laps down at this point in time. Caleb Hess now down to 5.5 on the gap. Gas is starting to get... No, they'll actually be good on gas here. Gas a lot better than some, but not by much. $15 laps to go. Hollingsworth with the most dominant run we have probably seen this season for the Truck Series. 127 laps led here tonight. Hess sitting in 2nd place. 7 laps led on the night. 5 seconds away. He's actually gaining some time on the Hollingsworth now. He's now 5.1 with 14 to go. I don't know if Hess will confidently be able to finish out the fight here. I know he's back up about a 10th there. I mean, he's going to need to be practically having the best laps of his career for the next 14 consecutive laps. Now, notably, he did pit at lap 134. Hollingsworth pitted at lap 131. So there are 3 lap fresher tires than there are going to be on that 15 of Hollingsworth. But of course, Hollingsworth does have some little draft from the 27 of France. We saw them tandeming there for a while before France started to lose the run from the 15. Now, that can also be kind of playing in this battle between Hollingsworth and Hess, for the simple fact that Hess is now going to be able to catch him, for the simple fact that the 27 of France is not in tandem, giving him that draft. Hess right now about 4.7 seconds back from Hollingsworth, so he has already made a big change, a big difference there from what we've seen the last few laps, but of course still has a lot left to go before he can actually try to say that this race could be his. Of course, Hollingsworth passed the line that time. 11 left to go, so there is still going to be a pretty big margin here. 4.7 seconds. You got Charlie Bennett way out of contention now. 24 seconds back from Hollingsworth. 20 seconds back from Hess. But the 12 of Swanberg is only 5 seconds back. So Bennett can't really make any mistakes here. No wall taps, no brake looses. You have to just run your line as consistent. Not pay too much attention to your relative leadership or anybody else is at the track, and kind of just dial in and finish it if he can. He'll get that top 3 spot right now. Of course, if Swanberg is able to overtake him, which there is a 3-car pack here, most likely will be positive. He will be able to pass Bennett. So Bennett's only 1 car out of a field of 10 other drivers, so only 4 on lead lap right now. There's going to be Hollingsworth down to Swansburg. Lucas Lewis a lap down. Mandarud 2 laps down. France 5 laps down. You got Lax unfortunately out for the night due to a wreck. You got Darcy out due to a wreck. And Hoppy out due to a wreck. Of course, Sanchez is now fully retired his car. He is still in pits right now trying to get what they're calling his damage fixed. But obviously he has too much damage to be able to continue here tonight. So they're probably just getting that car prepped and ready to go for next week. Now, the hardest part about this is now 7 to go. There's a 4.2 second gap. Hess has been pulling it down. Now we are in the 7 to go mark. How do we actually see Hess come over and try to dominate a run here? I mean, right now, he doesn't have anybody around him. There's no draft help. Hollingsworth right now has picked up on the back of what I believe is the 73 of Lucas Lewis. It is. So now he has the 73 of Lucas Lewis back in draft here, which is probably going to pull him away from Caleb Hess, and is already back up to a 4.5 second differential. That's probably going to slowly increase here over the next few laps. 6 to go in stage 3 now. That is going to be a crucial point on the night for Hess. I mean, of course, Hollingsworth, part-time driver, you want the win. You want to lock in if you are a full-time driver, and you haven't got one so far. I mean, hell, we only have 3 full-time locked-in drivers right now. That's going to be your points leader of Olax. Of course, Lucas Lewis in the 73 full-time for Parker Motorsports, and then Peter Hoppy for Hive Motorsports. Only 3 cars locked into the playoffs right now. We've had multiple winners this season. I mean, notably, J.J. Moore. Lax has won 2. Fisher won the first race here for Daytona the Daytona 250. Peter Hoppy won in Atlanta. He only seen him in victory lane once. Isaiah Fox with 2 wins as a part-time driver. Corey Rainey with 2 wins as a part-time driver. Lucas Lewis with 2 wins as a part-time driver. You know, those 4 drivers, Rainey, Fox, Lucas, and Lax, all tied for the most wins right now. You know, JJ taking his own. Hollingsworth not getting one in any of his part-time starts. I mean, now's the night for him to do it, but it also will, you know, kind of hurt others that are full-time that could have had an opportunity. You know, I mean, looking at it, Charlie Bennett, he was sitting in third. If Hollingsworth wasn't here, he would have only finished in second based off performance tonight. I don't really think it would have made a difference for him, which is unfortunate, you know, but of course he'll still be able to point his way into the playoff run. Hollingsworth now. Lucas off track. Might have been a corner cut. He is good to go. Franz off track too. Could have been another corner cut there. Entering the front stretch. Now Hess 4.3 points. 4.3. Good Lord, I can't talk. Seconds back. We got 2 laps to go here now. It's looking pretty strong for Hess. We're going to have to... I'm sorry, it's looking pretty strong for Hollingsworth. With now 1 to go. White flag officially out. No more cautions are going to dictate the possibility of this race. There's nothing else that can happen now other than Hollingsworth spinning himself out and meatballing himself to not regain it. I mean, we are on the backstretch now, following him into 3 and 4. Nobody else can touch it. Nobody else can do anything. The 15 of Hollingsworth, after a top 3 finish not even a week ago, has officially just taken his win here tonight at Charlotte. Something we kind of expected. We knew it was going to happen. We heard from him a week ago. He said he's got a race in him to win it. We just didn't know where it was going to be. Of course, Charlotte will be that night for him tonight. Very, very, very few cautions here tonight. For a good race with 11 cars. Of course, 4 of those cars went out. It was a very unfortunate night. But of course, looking here for your podium finish now. Stephen Hollingsworth takes first place. Caleb Hess will be in second. And Charlie Bennett finishes in third. Peter burning it. Not Peter. I'm so lost. Hollingsworth burning it down in the grass right at the 600 logo. Oh, he's going to wreck himself out of a celebration there if he's not careful. Seems like he's not worried about it. Hollingsworth with a dominant win here tonight. Doesn't seem like he's going to celebrate any more here tonight. So we'll go ahead and show you results as the race is officially finished. Looking at our race results here tonight. Stephen Hollingsworth finishes in first. Caleb Hess in second. Charlie Bennett in third. Swanberg in fourth. Lucas Lewis in fifth. Mandarud in sixth, 3 laps down. Franz in 7th, 5 laps down. Lax, after being retired, 66 laps down in 8th. Darcy, 68 laps down in 9th. Then, of course, Peter Hoppy in 10th, 75 laps down and in 11th place. It's going to be Tyler Sanchez, 77 laps down. Of course, our hard charger goes to Charlie Bennett tonight, as he gained 7 positions overall for his finishing position. Of course, we have had the fastest lap set by our winner, the most laps led at 142 from our winner. You know, it's just unfortunate for Caleb Hess at a pole position to finish runner-up in second place. You don't expect it, something you don't look forward to, but that is racing. Things happen that you can't control, and that was one of them here tonight. Of course, interviews with our top 3 drivers. Stephen Hollingsworth being last, Caleb Hess being second, and Charlie Bennett being first. see if they are ready to be pulled one by one, slowly but surely. Believe they are. We're going to start off with the 08 P3 finisher of Charlie Bennett. Hey, Charlie, Tyler in the booth, man. You got a copy?
I got a copy.
So, pretty good race, I would say, here tonight for you guys. You only had, what, 4 cautions? Fortunately, all of the wrecks kind of came at the stage break, so it wasn't like you guys were having to stop your racing and kind of figure out where your strategy ran from there. Of course, you know, first 2 stage. Oh, sorry there. Screwed up my my overlay. First 2 stages there, you know, were 50 laps a piece, and then you had an extra 17 laps. How were your strategy runs with your tires and, you know, trying to conserve your tires throughout the night?
I figured out how to save tires right before I wrecked myself. And that gave me like 7 minutes of damage. So I still had 3 minutes of damage when the like race finished, and it was well damaged, so it wouldn't like turn as much as it should have. So I couldn't really save tire at the end. So that was kind of out the window. So I was just like pushing the entire time for that last bit. But in that first part, tires were wearing insanely. Like, it'd be gone in 5-10 laps if you like didn't treat them right. But it's exactly how I like it though, because you can't just push and get away with it.
Now, of course, you know, not really having pretty high temps for track tonight. I believe the highest they got was about 91, and then of course when the Crimson Skies went down and it turned to dark and the lights were fully on, and it didn't seem to lose much of that heat. It kind of stayed around that 89 to 90 basis. How bad was the track rubbering up here tonight, and did it kind of affect your line choice?
Later in the run, I was trying more to the middle and top, and it was feeling a lot better. You could send it in a little harder, and yeah, it was feeling honestly a little better towards the end for me. I'm not sure if that was like since I had damage or not, but it was definitely feeling better at the end. The car was a little more freed up, you know. Yeah.
Now, of
That
course, you
was.
know. Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say that was a fun race.
Now, of course, you know, another week of what some might call an uneventful week, as we've had another part-time driver. I think the 3rd one this season, if you want to count Fisher's first win, because he was part-time at that time, which would be 5th. You know, another win from a part-time driver. How how does, you know, it feel consistently having these part-time drivers? And I'm not saying anything wrong about them, but, you know, as a full-time driver yourself, trying to lock yourself into a playoff run where you don't have to worry about where your points are going to lay you. How does it feel to have another spot taken away from a part-time driver win that isn't going to advance to a playoffs?
Well, of course, it's not the best thing for me, but I also see it as a good thing because it adds competition, and I know it would be better if they weren't racing, but I think it's funner that they race, so it gives more like spark to it. It's a and plus then I can just like normally I try learning from everyone who's faster than me in these races. Normally, like Steven and like a couple other guys who are part time will be faster than me normally. So it's actually pretty good. It benefits me in the long run. So yeah, still like to get a win here, but hey, on to next week, I guess.
Now, of course, you are the hard charger of the night, the highest moving driver positively gained with 7 positions. You started in the back of the field at 10th, the second to last line. You made it all the way up to third confidently after a pretty good pit cycle there at about lap 131. You and Hollinsworth both went in around the same lap times, of course. Not able to make a run as that 15 did, but kind of take us through your strategy to get you this top 3 finish tonight.
Well, my strategy was beating Mason more than even looking at the leaders because I knew they were going to be miles faster. And it was basically trying to save tire while staying in front of him. Then when he ended up passing me, that's when I decided to short pit him. It got me like 5 seconds in front. And I maintained or lost a little, then gained a little. Then I was losing a ton at the very end. And very glad that we didn't have another lap in that race because I would have definitely lost that P3.
Now, of course, here, man.
Yeah.
This week officially done with. Moving on to next week where we go to Daytona for 100 laps again. 20 laps shorter than the first inaugural Daytona we had here for the Truck Series. And then we go to a 2.5-mile track, the longest track of them all, Pocono. How are you feeling about, the next 2 weeks of racing here in the Truck Series?
I feel nervous about Daytona because anything could happen there. And, I mean, I think it's good because it'd be probably one of my better shots to get a win. And then going on to Pocono, it's gonna. I haven't practiced much there, so I don't know what to think about that yet. But another track I'm gonna be a little nervous on, and gonna hope for another just solid, consistent day. And who knows? Maybe you win.
Now, of course, man, before I let you go and enjoy the rest of your night in preparation for the Cup race tomorrow, do you have any shout-out you want to give to anybody?
Yes. I'd like to thank my racing partner here in Natras, Isaiah Fox, and my buddy Preston Salmon, and you for streaming, and Kenny, you too for streaming, and Jordan and Owen for running the 2 leagues.
Well, of course, man, appreciate you joining us up here to talk to us after the race. And, of course, congrats on your top 3 finish. And hopefully we'll see you get the win here in the Truck Series to officially put yourself in that locked-in playoff spot.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And, of course, that was our 3rd place finisher of Charlie Bennett. Pretty good race for him here tonight. Up 7 positions from where he started in 10th. Could have been a worse race. He could have fallen to the fate of the other 4 drivers, as we've seen 4 drivers fully get knocked out here tonight. Of course, he had prevailed above the rest here and was actively able to finish in a pretty good positioning. Now we're going to see. Yes, he is ready. The 23 of Caleb Hess, our 2nd place finisher, is ready to go. So we're going to bring in that 23 2nd place finisher.
What's up?
What's up, Caleb? Well, I mean, pretty good race from you tonight. Of course, probably not the race you anticipated, not the finishing position you anticipated. Getting the pole here, having the speed in qualifying, and seeing Owen have the fastest speed in warm-ups, of course, with draft and assistance most likely. You probably had to come into this race knowing that you had a good opportunity to take the win, and then just seeing Hollinsworth practically dominate the stages to take the race for himself here tonight. How did it feel trying to battle that 15?
It was frustrating because I feel like most of the race we just run the same lap times. Like he'd have a quicker 1 and 2, I'd have a quicker 3 and 4, and we pretty much stayed 5 tenths apart the whole race. So it was just very frustrating.
I mean, we saw some different pit cycles from a lot of you guys trying to get some time onto him. You went in at lap 168, full stop. He went in at lap 131. You had fresher tires than him, and even without him having draft assistant from a lap down car, it didn't seem like you were able to pull any time off of him. Do you feel like there was anything you possibly could have done different earlier in stage 3 to make that difference, or do you feel like he was just too dominant here to try to get that run on him?
Well, I probably would have hit maybe 1 lap after him because I stayed out 3 more laps after him because I thought I wouldn't come out 8 seconds back. So I kind of just screwed myself there. So if I would have changed anything, I'd just pit 1 lap after him.
I mean, coming into this season, we really didn't know how much of you we would see back on the track. Of course, registered full-time in that 23. You're about 3 positions outside of the cut for the 12th spot right now. Of course, you're only 35 below with this race. Ryder Morgan not being here, that'll definitely help you advance. And, now kind of having to fight France for that 12th spot where Ace Wells is currently sitting. How do you feel about your opportunity? I mean, you still got at least a few drivers up there that haven't been here on a weekly basis, like Battersby and Barris and Ryder. So you'll have positions to gain, but how do you feel about how long it's going to take you to get that positioning?
I don't think it's going to take me long. The only reason I'm so far back is because I haven't raced since Atlanta. So, and I know I have speed to place top 5 every single race. So it's give me at most 3 weeks and I'll probably be top 10 in points.
I mean, of course, finishing 167 laps here tonight for Charlotte. Moving on to our second run of Daytona next week on the 26th for 100 laps, starting at noon. Of course, high temperatures in Florida can make a difference on qualifying and your race. How are you feeling about, going to the lottery track of Daytona next week?
I feel pretty confident. This season at least, I've seemed to have pretty good luck at Daytona. I finished top 3 in the truck race. I kind of got screwed over in the 500, but I also won the Clash, so I'm feeling pretty confident going into Daytona.
Now, of course, here tonight, pretty difficult for anybody earlier on to kind of do anything with the race here. Of course, it was pretty hot on the track to start off the race with, and didn't really go down much at all, if any. How are you feeling about, the race from start to finish here tonight, including the cautions?
I honestly think it was loose. I feel like the race time should have been pushed back just a little bit, maybe have a cooler track temperature. It might have not been such a struggle to pass people and such. So, and I mean, we kept it pretty clean. There was only a few cautions, so I overall think it was pretty good.
Now, of course, you said, truck fell loose. Most likely we're having to really battle the truck the entire night, and of course dirty air not really helping it. Did you feel better being in draft, or did you feel better kind of being by yourself on the track?
I felt way better being by myself. When I didn't have a car in front of me, that's when I could actually push it off of the corners without worrying about sliding into the outside wall.
And of course, the longer it got onto those tires, the harder it got to control. Did you having the looseness of the car and then kind of seeing what everybody else was battling kind of change your influence on when you needed to pit or what you needed to do to try to keep that top three finish?
Honestly, I didn't really base myself off of other people. Before the race, I kind of made my strategy and I promised myself that I'd stick to it no matter what was happening. So I tried making my own strategy work, and it seems like I need to get a strategist.
I feel like most of us would feel the same for certain tracks. You know, these concrete tracks are killer, man. You think you coming in with a good strategy and it starts to play out in front of you and you're like, "Oh, damn, this was not a good idea." I mean,
Yeah.
for you, it still worked out in your favor. You still were able to claim that second place position. Of course, not getting that win to lock you in, but still have a few more opportunities to do so. Of course, before we let you go tonight, I'm gonna ask you as always if you have any shout outs you want to give to anybody.
My only shout out is my shout out to you. Just thank you for putting on a great stream for, I don't know, 11 cars or something. Probably wasn't that very entertaining, but thank you for your time and your effort that you put into the series.
Well, of course, man. Hey, look, I can make four cars on a track look entertaining as long as there's something to talk about. So, it's it's all the way you work. But I appreciate that, man. Of course, thank you for coming out here and giving the fans one hell of a show and trying to take the win away. I mean, it was enjoyable to watch there for those last 40 laps, trying to see if you were going to be able to pull off time and what you were going to be able to do by yourself. I mean, you killed a little bit. You killed about a second and a half, but it just unfortunately wasn't enough. So,
Well, actually, I pulled from my pit when I came out. There was 8 seconds, and I cut it down to 4 at the very end.
yeah, so I mean, big adjustments there. I mean, you gained, like I said, almost a second and a half those last like 6 laps. So, I
Oh
mean,
my
you could.
gosh, dude! I freaking ran that car until it was nothing.
I mean, I feel like if you had at least two more cars in a draft pack, it probably would have made you feel loose. But I think you guys would have been able to catch them.
Probably, but it's only an if.
Yeah, unfortunately, ifs don't get you wins. But I mean, hey, look, you still walked out with a second place finish tonight. So I mean, of course, congratulations to that, and hopefully we'll see you get that win before we have to finish the season at Nashville and then move over to the playoffs where you're gonna have to be trying to point yourself in.
Yep, we'll see how it works.
All right, man. Well, we hope you have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
Was our second place finisher there. Caleb Haas, a voice you don't really hear much. Didn't seem like he was going to be coming back for full-time competition and figured out he actually had some wiggle room, so he decided to come back as always and give these drivers some hell. Almost had the win tonight. Was getting pretty close there. 4 seconds pulled off entirely. That extra second and a half pulled off within the last 10 laps. And like I said, I feel like he could have had that win if there was a little bit more of a draft presence around him. But look, we got to give it to the 15. We heard from him last week. We heard this track was circled on his calendar. He was ready to dominate when he came in the track tonight and pulled that truck off the hauler. So now, last but not least, we will interview the number 15 of Stephen Hollinsworth.
What's up, Tyler?
Well, one thing's for sure and two things for damn certain. You won't lying last week.
Yeah, how about that race? That was something.
What a hell of a race, dude. 147 laps led from you tonight. Of course, didn't get the pole that came to your second place finisher of Caleb Haas, but seemed like you were sandbagging a little bit to make him not realize how fast you were going to be tonight.
No, definitely wasn't sandbagging on the pole. I messed my lap time up, but it was good enough for fifth. So, and then starting on that initial start, Owen must have started in third or missed a shift or something, and then that put me in second place. and then yeah, it gave me the track position I need. And then once I got around Lucas, I tried to stay out front as much as possible.
I mean, I would say you didn't really try. You kind of succeeded more than you tried. I mean, it looked really good from you out there tonight, even with drivers trying to stay out an extra lap or two to try to get that positioning on you. You just had the speed, you had the skill, and of course, the need to try to get a win here. Even though you're a part-time driver, it still counts for stats here. Looking back to the race, we've heard from the other two top three finishers that the trucks were pretty loose tonight. I mean, from my perspective, looking down at the track, it didn't seem like it rubbered up pretty hard for you guys there. But of course, rubber still building up on that track, making it looser. How did it feel for the longevity of your tires the longer the race got?
It felt great. I mean, the high side. I ran the high side most of the night, and it felt like the tires wasn't wearing as much on the high side as they would on the bottom, which is kind of crazy for iRacing. But yeah, it felt great. I even took two tires, and at the end of stage two, going into stage three, I was on two tires, and it's actually the two tires tightened the truck up, which is kind of crazy. And yeah, I was loose on four tires, but I was tight on two tires, and man, I could roll the bottom on two tires pretty good. And yeah, it was a dogfight there in the middle of the race. Now, I mean, with Owen up there and Charlie up there and Caleb up there. I hate that Owen got into a wreck right there around lap 100. You know, I wish he would have been able to hang around with us, and that would definitely gave me a run for my money right there.
I mean, that was also something we saw too when stage two kind of hit and a little bit into stage three. It seemed like they were starting to give you a little bit of a run for your money. Lax and you were side by side, ticking back and forth in the middle of laps for lead positions. It kind of seemed like he started getting the best of you while holding that high side. It seemed like you were a little bit uncomfortable, but still confident on that bottom side run. You just didn't want it to wear out your tires. If Lax didn't wreck out, do you feel like this finish would have been different for you?
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. I mean, Lax is quick, man. He's a hard one to conquer, and if it wasn't for that little hiccup there with the 65, I think it was, uh, yeah, it definitely been a different race. Even with the green flag pit stops, um, I knew after the green flag pit stop when I had an 8-second lead with about 35 to go, I was like, all right, this is my chance. This is my shot. Um, Caleb even cut it in half down to 4 seconds. I was still worried with like 5 laps to go. I was like, man, this is crazy. Um, but was able to keep the tires under it and keep the speed up and bring it on home, man. It feels good. First win in the league. Been trying to win for months now, and finally able to pull one off.
Now, of course, pit cycles for stage one and two were kind of cut clean, 50 laps. But adding that 17 extra laps on a stage three, of course, kind of made you have to come in with a different strategy. Did you have your pit cycle strategies already kind of figured out before this green flag, or were you kind of running, stage one as more of a research and development stage to kind of figure out what you would have needed to do for stage three?
Yeah, I didn't have my crew chief tonight, which kind of messed me up. I kind of just went off of what iRacing was telling me. As soon as I got the call that I'm good on fuel, I went about 4 extra laps and pitted in. There wasn't really much else I could do. I'm not used to calling strategies. I'm used to just leaving it up to my boy Matt. But he wasn't there tonight, and or wasn't able to be there tonight, and so yeah, I left it up to iRacing. iRacing said, "All right, you're good on fuel, or you can pit here, and you know how it calls it. You can pit here, and you'll be good
Yeah.
on fuel." And I went 3 extra laps, 4 extra laps, and was like, "All right, I'm going in." And Caleb stayed out for 3 laps, and I guess that's all it took for me to bring it on home.
I mean, of course, a hell of a run for you here tonight. You had it circled on the calendar. It was one of your few races you had circled. Now that you got that done with a limited part-time starts, where's the next one? You got circled and starred up all around because I mean we're hitting batting 1,000 on predictions right now.
I mean, why not Daytona, man? Why not bring it to Daytona? I don't know. Let me see. Let me pull it up here. So we got Pocono, Michigan, Kentucky. I mean, all them tracks are good. I mean, um, I don't know how many starts. I gotta get with the admins and figure out how many starts I have left. But I plan on being at the next few: Daytona, Pocono, Michigan, Kentucky, New Hampshire, North Wilkesboro. I plan on being at all those. Um, I don't know if I'll hit my 10 limit or not before the playoffs, but uh, I'll circle Kentucky. How about that?
Well, I'll be. You better be talking to me on the 24th, otherwise I'm going to give you hell behind the scenes for it. So,
That's
I
fine.
mean, of course, a dominant run here for you tonight to get the win with a 4-second gap. Was 8 down to 4. Of course, now moving into tomorrow, we are still gonna be green for a whole nother series, of course, on a different track. So now that this is all said and done, how are you feeling about taking your momentum here from Charlotte into Dover for the Cups tomorrow?
Man, I got to do some practice. I haven't even touched the Gen 6 car at Dover yet. I guess I'll be doing that tomorrow. So we'll see. Now that I got one under my belt, let's see if it opens up some flood. Let's see if it opens up some wins in the Cup side. That'd be awesome. Getting used to these long races. These races are so long, and getting used to them and the strategies behind them. It's taken me a minute. Um, so we'll see how it goes. Dover's a hard track. I'm not too confident in my ability there, so we'll see how it goes. I mean, there's a lot of fast guys on the Cup side too. It's not, the truck side's competitive, but the Cup side is, tenfold competitive. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, of course, man, before we let you go, I'm going to ask you if you have any shout outs you want to give to anybody.
Yeah, man, just give a shout out to you guys in the booth, Tyler and Kenny, and I appreciate y'all broadcasting these races. I love going back and watching them, and appreciate the admins for putting on these races. I know the truck series is kind of it's hard to grow, but just we keep showing up, and keep it'll grow. We keep talking about it in the open series that we run on iRacing, and we keep bringing people over. It's just word of mouth, and keep bringing people over. And that's how I got here, is word of mouth. And I appreciate Kyle for bringing me over here, and appreciate Matt for being in my ear, and coaching me through these races and trying to help me out with strategy. And I appreciate all the competitors that showed up tonight, man. Without them, this wouldn't be as fun to celebrate. So appreciate everybody showing up.
Of course, man, congratulations on your first win here. No, it's not where you probably wanted it to be, but look, it's still a win.
No,
So
yeah,
at
yeah,
least you
no, yeah,
knocked it off now. You kind of dusted the cobwebs off. Looking forward to now seeing how, this momentum is going to kind of help you out with the rest of the Cup Series, what we have left of it, of course, about 12 races till we hit the playoffs there. So, of course, once again, congrats tonight on your first win, and hopefully we'll see you in victory lane again, whether it's here or whether it's in the Cup Series.
All right, Tyler. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. You have a good one.
You too, man.
Of course, that was our race winner there, Steven Hollinsworth, with his first official win now coming from the Truck Series. Probably not where he expected it to be, but look, at the end of the day, it's better to get that first win out from under your belt before it gets too late. Of course, once again, looking back at results here today, Hollinsworth takes that first place spot. Caleb Heston second. Charlie Bennett in third. Swansburg in fourth. Lewis rounding out your top five. Charlie Bennett, your hard charger of the night with 7 positions gained overall on the night. Of course, Steven Hollinsworth, 142 laps led, as long as having the fastest time here on laps as well. Of course, we aren't done with our week just yet. Tomorrow, we are back live for the NARS Cup Series on Saturdays, 8:45 for your green flag. Monday will be the finale race, the Final Four Championship race for the American Stock Car Racing League. Then they will go on break. And of course, we still have 2 weeks left for the Ride Time Truck Series on Thursdays right now, as they are wrapping up their chase in the trucks. So be sure to drop a follow, turn your post notifications on, and be known when we are live, because we go live normally 5 times a week, now down to 3. We'll be down to 2 after next week, as seasons are slowly coming to a wrap. Of course, as always, it has been another great race up here in the booth to call for you folks. We appreciate you joining us on behalf of the Fisher Studios Truck Series and the Asphalt Racing Network. We appreciate you sticking around for the live broadcast. Of course, this will be re-uploaded, so be sure to drop by and check out the race there as well. Of course, as always, we are going to leave you with the white flag lap, where Hollinsworth has solidified his first official win. We hope to see you tomorrow. If not, we hope to catch you back here next time.